Welcome back to V-Rule. Thank you for your continued support. The giveaway is still on for the Glaring Articuno tin from Crown Zenith. 4 packs going out to one of you winners. Please go to this video. This one right here. Let me get out of the way. This video right here. That's the one you want. Go there. Do a comment on that video after this one, because today's video is going to be pretty exciting. A little bit different. Totally different direction than what I've done ever before. But not out of my wheelhouse. Let's just be honest. This is really where I would, or at least should, shine with my background. And we can get in that another day, another time. Let's jump over here and take a look. And while you're here, like, comment, and subscribe to this video here. But for that giveaway, you know where to go. Take a look at the screen. I'm going through a rating system, and I've decided to go every single Wednesday. We're going to rate each and every Pokemon set that we have available. I started last week with the latest Twilight Masquerade. Today, this week, we are doing Temporal Forces, and we will be working our way backward in time as far as Pokemon sets. And the rating I'm doing may vary, and I think today is a good step in the right direction, that I'm going to be judging the artwork. Now, this is all subjective. This is going to be whoever is viewing it. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? The beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, based on your perspective, your experience, what you know, how you feel about it, what you like, what you don't like, all of that's going to come into play, and that's your decision to make. So you may disagree with every single thing I say, and I would love the argument, rather not an argument, but I'd love the debate, the conversation, the topic, because I'm not going to argue you. You're open and entitled to your own opinion. I'm not going to argue you. Let's be set on that one. But I've designed 4 categories, 5 really, but one's irrelevant. The irrelevant one is exclude. I don't need to go over these things, specifically full arts and EX cards. EX cards I don't think we need to classify in this higher tier of artwork. They are what they are. And we've gotten used to EX cards. When they came back, there was a little hesitation about what they are, the stars, the shine, all that. I think we're past it now and we're okay with that. The full arts, you're basing it off of color, you're basing it off of texture, you're basing it off of the Pokemon itself. There's a lot of things that go into there. The gold cards can be very similar. I just don't think they're worth going in-depth conversation on. And same with A-Spec cards, but only to a point. The other categories, timeless art, well-composed, indifferent, or poor artwork. I want to be sensitive about poor artwork, because this is really not a dig at the artists themselves to say that this is not worthy of being a Pokemon card. I'm nobody in comparison. Everything is a contender. It's all worthy. But if I do put it in the poor artwork category, it's just for the sake of argument that I don't think it's going to hold up in these other areas that I don't feel one way or another. I actually do have an opinion that it's slightly lesser. So it was just a labeling system. Don't beat me up for it, or do it. I don't care. Comment. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to say something. We're getting into this. We're going to get into this, and we're going to go pretty quick, because there's a lot of them to go through. I know there's a lot I'm not doing here, but this grouping actually stacks up to be a lot. So let's jump at the overall list here. Went to Pokelector here and just pulled out the entire list. I was taking a look, opening up certain tabs, and I reviewed it because I was going to do the A-Spec cards, but I've gotten it down to 3 that are worth discussing, and here we go on to that. So we have the Awakening Drum, and more importantly, a counterpart in a sense, because this is the ancient A-Spec card. We have the future A-Spec card of the Reboot Pod. The only thing I'd like to point out here is that this added texture, this added color change, elevates these A-Spec cards as a whole. And let's bring it to the Master Ball for this one. As a whole, I think the A-Spec cards are severely underrated for their artwork. Now, when it comes down to the playability, how does it operate in the TCG, that's all stuff that should be considered. But for the artwork themselves, I think they're underrated as far as value. Value in the market we're seeing today, if that's going to be a play-on factor, it could just be based on rarity, how easy or difficult these are to pull. But the reality is, for these specific Pokemon cards, the A-Spec cards, when it comes to the artwork, I think they're undervalued. This magenta pop, this cyan contrast, just really booming in there. And if you've held one of these things, they look gorgeous for such a simple card. I think these outdo the Pokemon Radiance. All right, the Pokemon Radiance have a tough time standing up to these A-Spec cards. That's how cool they are. So I want to put these into a category of well composed. You have a smaller frame to work with, and the fact that they stretch that frame with the ancient and the future cards, but also just isolating the item. You know, Master Ball, swirling, giving a lot of energy, emotion. Like, there's so much happening there. And you go pull that, now you got your Master Ball ready to go. Like, it's a really cool setup. It's a really cool style, and you have a small frame to work with, and I think they do a good job with the majority of these A-Spec cards. I just wanted to give them a little bit of a treatment there because I think it's worth mentioning. So I want to bring it over here to the illustration rares. Shrifty, I'm going to say it's falling a little short into even the poor artwork category. I know the first one we're going at, but hear me out as we go through this. This has a very muted palette. There's some energy, but for some reason it feels flat. It has a little bit too much of an aggression to it for a Pokemon that I wouldn't otherwise, mark as severely aggressive in the character itself. So that's my opinion. Again, my own opinion, don't beat me up. Whereas we go over here, okay, Grottle. This one, I think, has such a classic vibe to it that it just becomes light and airy. If you're familiar with it, Land Before Time, it kind of gives me some Land Before Time vibes out of there. Very fun little thing there. Deerling on the counterpart here on Sawsbuck. They're awesome. You put those next to each other, those things are the contenders. I think these end up being in the timeless art because of that. All right, I really like the Grottle for a well-composed shot. It has that beautiful, where are we at here on the Grottle? We have that beautiful S-curve. It's a very obvious leading line, brings you into the subject matter. You have this little 3-dot of lake, sky, there you go. And then we bring it back home in the foreground here. We have the green here, and then we hop there, and we bounce the bushes there. There's so many little visual cues to move throughout the artwork. It's very simple. It's very clean, but that composition, makes it to be a more elevated piece there. So I'm actually going to put Shrifty into the poor artwork because I feel like it's too chaotic without being interesting and too dark without being heavy enough. It's just kind of plain and muted. So I'm putting that in poor artwork. Again, just my stupid 2 cents. Maybe this is a total risk to be doing this and saying this stuff. Litten. Let's take a look at Litten here. A lot going on. You could see whoever has this Litten, whatever trainer might be having this Litten, they got all the different merch and all that going on. They're really big time Litten fans. It tells a story. You have this really warped view of the bookcase, and that warped view is a tie into a real photographic element of a wide angle lens where that center is pulling closer to you, the rest is stretching out. Very easy, simple technique. But then to do it in this hand-drawn style and having that cross between, that has got this like GoPro approach, it's a very interesting thing. So I actually like the artwork here. I don't think we're going into timeless on that one, but it's definitely worth it there. Snom, I'm kind of indifferent about. when I first saw it, I was just like, oh, that's so cool. It just looks so photorealistic. It's very, very in-your-face real. But then that's where it stops. It's very photorealistic. Okay, next. So I'm kind of indifferent. It's not poor, but it leaves me indifferent. Charjabug, and this might just be me. Not a fan of Charjabug, so it's hard to make this Pokemon interesting. I think they've done a good job putting the artwork being a little bit more of this sketch style, where you have these obvious line brushes look to it. It's more of a pencil-like look to it. Obvious technique of just, that's the light, here's the brightness, and very simple in its palette. Solid colors throughout, but not glaring, loud colors in any way. So let's run back here and put some of these away here. So Litten, I think it's well composed. I really like some of the technique there. Snom is going to be indifferent, and I'm going to put in Charjabug indifferent as well. So that's just me. Sorry, just me. I really like this Bronzor, and maybe it's just the chaos, but the fact that Bronzor is so just kind of cute and innocent, looking in this mirror, curious, wondering what's going on. There's a little bit of a mythical feel in here, and also this mirror frame mirrors directly, okay, saying mirror a lot, mirrors directly the Pokemon look and style here. I can't really make out what we have going on in here, specifically in this little birdcage thing. This pillar is interesting with little Pokemon. It kind of gives you that Disney World vibe where they hide Mickey Mouse everywhere. You kind of get a little bit of that there with the Pokeball going on in there. So that's really cool. There's a lot of depth in here. We can Get this brickwork going back. There's some stairs leading up. It leaves you wondering, where does this go? This surreal, otherworldly feel is mirrored, or not mirrored. I don't want to say mirrored. It's given to us as a little drop of hint, and literally from above, a little drop of hint. This planet-looking thing here, mobile, coming down. So I think this actually is so underrated to be sitting at $1. Maybe it's that easy to get. Maybe Bronzor is not that popular of a Pokemon, but it's such an underrated artwork and so beautiful and so simple. I mean, think about the canvas size. Think about the canvas size. We have this. We have this to work with in what we're viewing, what we're seeing. The artist has this to work with in what they deliver, and all this stuff that gets crammed into some of these cards is amazing. I mean, almost mind-blowing. Miniature paintings were a fan favorite for many years, days old, and I think we're seeing that back again in this era of the Scarlet and Violet Pokemon TCG, that this is where it's all going. So scooping up these illustration rares, I think, is going to be a really long-term important. We're here in it now. They're sitting at $1. Like, it's worth having a handful of these things in your binder for the long term. These artworks are fantastic just across the board. It really is fantastic. Here we go. We have a little bit more of that photorealism, but put into that cartoon style. Very clean, very simple, and you can start playing into numbers. All right, we have 1, 2, 3 on the Pokemon in these areas that shine. 3 looks really good. Then surrounding 1, 2, 3, we have that to mimic that and create a balance of your central frame and then your exterior, foreground, background to balance each other out there. We have this nice shallow water, really light, easy. You can see the sand through, and it goes into the depths of the water, and then just a hint of the sky to bring us home. It's got a nice long feel, start to finish. Very clean looking. So I don't think it's going to be a timeless one, but it's very clean. Cutie Fly, same kind of thing. We have a lot more of this photorealistic here. I think this one actually stands above the rest, though. There's a lot more happening with this. And then, what is that, Pikapek? I can't remember. But hanging out here and just ready to go into this little bird bath. We see the water overflowing, this nice fountain shooting out. It's got a lot of motion, a lot of energy, and maybe it's just the artwork and nature tie that has been a staple in art for millennia. I mean, as long as humans have been making art, nature has always often played a role, rather, and bringing in the water element really takes it to another level. So, Relicanth, a little too basic for me. Shelter here, can't remember the name, Torgus or something, I don't remember. There's a lot happening, but it's all very drab, very light in its energy. Not really getting a lot of it. Their Excadrill, what a great little thing here. The Pokemon interacting with the people of the surrounding world, doing their thing. They're there to drill. They got a job to do. They're all hard working and just taking a break. And they're appreciating the Pokemon who are there to help them. It's got a cool little story to it, so I really appreciate that. Let's clean some of these up, get them into their respective category here. I might have convinced myself that this one actually is worth holding for a long term. Just the amount of depth in that one is pretty beautiful. I'm gonna put this in I'm gonna put it in poor artwork. I'm gonna bring this down to indifferent. Like, it's good, but I'm not going to be going wild for it. So we got to get caught up here. Here we go. Mudsdale. I think this is the only illustration rare I pulled from this set. So it's cool. There's some motion. There's some action happening. We got being mimicked here. I love that there. It tells a little story. Helping out on the farm. That's cool. Do I think it's timeless? No, I don't think we reached that category of timeless. Arbok, maybe because from the original 151. Interesting. That upside down composition kind of throws it for us a little bit. Just taking it to a direction we might not expect. But Arbok's a snake. They can go all over the place. There's every which way you can handle it. So very good. The toucan here. What's the name of this one? Is there a specific toucan one? There's got to be, right? So it's got a cool framing looking through these leaves, a lot of energy, just that strike across. Yes, you can hear these cards. That's how passionate I get about this junk. Sorry. You hear these cards with this striking vines going through here, whatever we're looking at. So it's really cool. I don't think we reached the status of timeless. Here we go. Here's another timeless one. And this was obvious from the get-go. We have the entire evolutionary trio. Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar, Meowth to bring it home to be like, what's up, I'm here too. Very cool. We have this like rush through the city. The eyes are looking in all sorts of directions. Gengar's just a beast there, and I don't even know what we're doing. We're looking out of a alleyway or out of a shop or something. Just they're running through, rushing through. It's a very great artwork there. Metagross, another one, beautiful. Just playing in the snow, getting this snowball in the background here. I feel like it takes a second to see that one. We have this road leading out into the town, and we have just the spottiness of these different buildings. This beautiful sunset taking place on a snowy day. If you haven't encountered snow, it has elements of being that fun. You get to do the snowman, which has no face to us, but we see the carrot giving us that it's a traditional snowman. Very recognizable, the top hat, the scarf, all that. Little mailbox here, they're helping out plowing stuff maybe, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of good little things. It's got a light in the area, a little haze of the pink from the sunset coming in, reflected into that tractor there. So I think that one has an element of being timeless. This one for Melton, same thing. Look at those sparks flying down. It's got a lot of energy. They're bouncing off the ground and pouring over the different Melton. They're all jumping up like this is their greatest joy. It'd be like people playing in a waterfall. So very cool artwork there. Again, these are just illustration rares. They're so underappreciated, and I gotta speed this up. I'm gonna go with indifferent, I'm sorry, and I think well composed because there's a lot of energy there. I'm going timeless, instantly timeless. We're gonna have to move along a lot quicker because this video is getting out of control here. Look at tongue. I don't think we've reached timeless. I think I'm going to go indifferent because of the simplicity. I like that there's the hanging out and eating food. This one's actually really well composed. You have this back and forth, and then also, look at this. You have a treble clef here, and you can see that these lines are not just lines. It looks like we can play notes. So I'd like to hear what that sounds like on a piano or something, but it looks like two treble clefs, not the treble and the bass clef, which would give you a right hand, left hand situation. But anyways, there's a lot there. Good leading line here. Good stability of that building there to kind of counter the heaviness, framing, all of that. This just has the obvious earmarks of well-composed imagery, and I think for a Chatot, it's actually really well done, that you could put that into a timeless. Again, people were talking about $1 artwork, $1. It just blows my mind that how good are these things getting, and for so inexpensive. Cinchio, I don't know, whatever. You have Meryl here. Skitty, I think. Is this Bulbasaur just hanging out? Mr. Mime peeking in the window. Look at all these little diamond things flying around here. It's cute. I'm not going to say indifferent. I think it looks good, well composed. Actually, I should probably go back and clean things up, but I think this is our last illustration rare Drampa. So simple, so plain, but very clean, and there's something about it that I like, probably because Drampa's hard to like. It's hard to like Drampa, but I do like the composition. I do like the artwork here, but I'd say in comparison, it's hard to hold up against these others. So maybe I'm getting a little bit more harsh here. I think I'm going into the well composed on these. I really think that Chatot has a lot going on there. There's two of these for some reason. Okay, whatever. We're going to go indifferent on the Drampa there. And we should be at the point of our illustration rares. Sorry, special illustration rares. I'm going to look at all these really quick here. Sadly, I find this one a little too simple, a little too boring. It's cool. Legendaries, why shouldn't you want them there? And that's the thing that puts these into a special illustration rare category. One, they are more rare to pull, and fewer on the market means higher value card. I get it. This is very busy to me, almost chaotic to an uncomfortable level, and Walking Wake seems to tone it down just a little bit more, but not by much. And when we get into Iron Crown, I think this one's actually gorgeous. I think this is timeless because of the color palette, because of this very stoic feel to Iron Crown EX. And then we have this good layering here. This one definitely wins above the other. Unimpressed. I'm unimpressed here. There's just so little going on compositionally speaking for this one. Here, the Raging Bolt, I think, is a tier above. I firmly believe that this foreground is not busy or chaotic in a way that's distracting. You have these solid pillars of the cliffs around the lightning here to mimic this cloud, beard, whatever going on, and you have obvious light pouring over the Pokemon. I think it's actually gorgeous, timeless artwork there. Let's move in here in our trainers. these are a good way to go for the trainers. They share a lot, they show a lot. This one's chaotic and crazy, so I think for that wow factor, we almost get into Timeless on Eerie there. 2 more, I believe. Let's take a look here. Morty's Conviction. I really feel like this is a little bit overrated for what it is. It's all about this Gengar hanging out. The quality of the image is fine. The brickwork is great. Morty sitting there just admiring Gengar, having a little cup of coffee or whatever, fine. But speaking as far as artwork, I'm not that into it. Salvatore, I thought from the beginning this was like the Machamp from Astral Radiance. Just the level of chaos and detail in there is so interesting, and I think it looks really good there. I'm actually putting down indifferent. These are well composed. I can't deny that. But I'm going to jump in here. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm throwing that in the poor artwork. So a couple of them make the cut here. I'm going with well composed. I can't bring these to the Timeless in my opinion, but actually I believe that there's so much more in this artwork. And there's my list. That's it. That's it. This video went on way too long. Enter for that giveaway. Galarian Articuno. You know where to go. It's right there. That's where to go. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for stopping by. Peace.